one rescue.
What's kind of engine there?
Yeah, it's a pumper.
Pumper? Okay.
250,000 probably.
Okay.
Yeah, right. In the neighborhood.
And the ambulances are 150 apiece.
Right. Yeah, we've grant funded several of these.
One engine and what?
2 and rescue. And a rescue.
Rescue.
Yeah, it's around 125.
Yeah.
And we have an ongoing need to replace personal protective equipment.
Okay, some self-contained breathing apparatuses and stuff like
turnouts.
Turnouts.
Well, about $1,500 per firefighter.
Yeah.
We put on SCBA's. I would also say that we need to improve either expand or improve the station.
Oh, okay.
It's essentially needs to be expanded. It was originally built to be expanded and it never happened. It used to have pull-through bays and it doesn't have that now and stuff like that.
So equipment,
I have no idea what that would cost. Oh, equipment?
Yeah, you think
well, they're looking at 40 firefighters, did you say?
Yeah.
and you need turnouts for all 40 or no, just for the new long? Oh,
No,
you need to upgrade
no,
all?
these have to be upgraded about every 5 to 7
Okay.
years. And we
Well, my brain can't do that.
And the SCBA's are every 7 years, for sure. And
The SCA, that's a $250,000 grant we just got maybe.
if we get it.
If we get it.
Yeah.
That's 600,000 just for turnouts at 15,000 pounds. 1,500.
1,500.
Okay.
Per.
I thought those were the most expensive turnouts I've ever heard.
They're dripping in gold lace.
And I learned a long time ago you don't argue with the mayor. Please public.
I'm also on the fire department. The SCBA's, the tanks alone are $600 a piece for the high pressure tanks.
Yeah.
With another $1,000 for the pack and the regulators.
And you wouldn't equip all fire personnel with that, so it'd just be your response crews, wouldn't you? You know, not all 40
Everybody
people.
responds.
Everybody responds?
Yeah, they're supposed to.
Okay.
Now, not all people, there's not all 40 of them though that are firefighters, so I say it's about 20, right?
I think it's a $250,000 grant. By the time we get a new system to fill
Well,
the
yeah,
air tank.
I'm not thinking even having a grant.
Yeah, but I mean, it was for that.
Yeah, systems firefighters will pay for that. I mean, we've done that a bunch of times, so.
Anything else, Dale, that you can think of?
Yeah, there's some lady put an application in for a trailer, a manufactured home by the mill. And there's no, up by the fish hatchery, there's no water up there, so, you know.
Oh, we're supposed to put water in?
Well, I know, we're still working on that. I don't know who the lady is. But,
she has her, I think she has her own will.
And we need an automatic water tender, something we can all
We need a water
drive.
tender that Leo can drive.
Yes. Automatic, Jerry can drive too. Jerry can drive too. And
Drive what we got already.
continue funding for the 4th firefighter position. That's $75,000 a year. We've got it covered for 4 years.
That's low.
Maybe.
Okay, well 75, well, okay, make it higher, but there's, after the 4th year, we'll have to fund that. And then I had some maintenance on the station. We got an 1.5-inch line that's broken in the concrete,
Yeah,
and
just
carpet,
Just
and
station.
How much is the water tender?
25 to 150,000.
150,000.
150? I didn't know how many gallons you were going to go. So.
That doesn't
We talked
include
about
just
it today.
replacing hose.
Don't you have that for the fish hatchery?
Huh?
Don't you have that for the
Well, we
fish
probably
hatchery?
get how big?
We have some water
We
tenders,
probably
but
get another,
very few people can drive them because they're
I would
13
guess
speeds.
a minimum of 2,500.
They like to go up the golf course and stuff. But they were talking about your permit. It's like there's no
You got a
water there. What
ballpark
are we
on
gonna
the
do?
expansion? How many
We
square
can't
feet
lay
do you think you can be out
to
to the
the
fire
from the.
station?
Oh, you mean a hydrant?
Yeah, we can't lay from the mill site because we don't have enough hose to make it your house unless they make you do something.
Okay, so 3,000.
Well, that's in another building?
I already have a well.
Not enough for us.
50 by 60, how much, what's the square foot of that?
That's 3,000 square feet.
Yeah, so you're talking the size of this building.
$400,000?
We'd be going backwards.
Yeah.
Towards that back.
Depends on if it's steel building or stick frame and brick like that, so let's just figure 150 square.
I mean, as long as you're dreaming, we might as well dream big.
And that's a dream.
Yeah.
I was building fire station.
I don't think so.
No.
This one cost you $700,000 in 1995.
So
that's pretty new.
as a placeholder, I'm just gonna put $450,000 on that. Yeah, so.
But that's a high-end stuff. That's mostly equipment that the fire department needs
Okay,
at this time.
okay.
Don't expect that to happen in the next 5 years, but I would have to say that ambulances had better happen in the next 5 years, or we'll be down to one ambulance.
Yeah, you know, Ford family, somebody here's a Ford family leadership person.
Yeah,
Ford family paid for that for Burns. We wrote the grants to get ambulances out of Ford for that, so.
Get it?
He's a gatekeeper. He's a gatekeeper for Oakridge.
Well, okay.
So,
now with
that's,
all this stuff in here, I have a problem. And the problem is, well, one of the reasons that we went in the hole was we had too many people on board.
okay.
28 people, or 23 people, we needed about 20, or
We had
we had
12,
33 people, we needed about 23.
Okay.
That's why 10 went away. Cost of personnel is their highest cost of all the stuff we got. And if we add 6 more back in, one of which is a director, we're gonna kind of be right back where we started, it seems to me like. But we might be able to talk around that and see what the alternatives are.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, and there are alternatives for that. Because we do need to have some expertise. At what level?
There's no way around it.
Yeah, at
It's gotta
what level that would be hour-wise, that's where the conversation will be at. But yes, there is.
The alternative is outsourcing or contracting or doing other things that we don't have to have PERS and
Right.
medical costs and all those things on.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys are gonna drill down on that as we get
As
into
we
the
get.
priorities. So, yeah. So, can we, one other department? Yep.
What about the athletic department?
What's that? What-
Athletic department.
Well, you know, actually, he's got a good point. One area that we didn't even touch on is parks.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
a good one.
Chuck Garrett,
Chuck's
got
got
parks
parks in there.
Where's your
Chuck's
park?
got it in there.
Oh, there it
Yeah,
is.
and there's been next level, and then we
had a quarter of a million in.
Never mind, I'm good.
Now, you remember we voted?
I didn't see the fine print.
Chuck,
What's that?
I said we voted to.
Yeah, you guys cut me off, I was just getting started.
All right, I see it. Okay, never mind, he's got it.
Okay.
Because that is an important piece of it. Though,
But I might add though that, in that, if we're gonna do all this stuff, it takes personnel to make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's just the way it is.
I understand.
So,
Again, we
We
don't
got no more-
necessarily have to have them on full-time. We can have. we
Someone
can do
forgot to
other ways
mention
do
the
it
cattery.
and still have.
The
personnel.
what?
The cattery.
That comes up everywhere.
The cannery.
Cattery.
Cattery.
Meow,
Oh, cattery.
That was in your department.
that's.
Michael's.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep that one up.
You know.
Okay, okay.
We'll do that outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I'd like to do is move into council goals so we can get some inventory of council goals now, if that's okay. And I'm assuming a lot of the goals are the same, but, you know, so I'd just like to get the council to go through and give us their goals over the next 5 years. I like the look there.
Mine has been for years, some kind of an emergency medical.
Okay,
I
okay.
Put that on every year.
Emergency clinic, is that what you're talking about?
Well, an urgent care type clinic.
Okay.
I'll run it.
One of the things I haven't heard anything about tonight, and it's maybe because it's a standalone, is the museum a private nonprofit, not part of the city?
It's not part of the city.
Okay.
But I think as you go through the community piece, those will be some of the people we want to invite.
Sure. And it struck me as an opportunity because I saw the big blocks and tackles out there, so I knew that it must be full of logging equipment in there, or some kind of history stuff. But the building itself doesn't really say, hey, come.
It's on First Street, that's the old building.
Oh, the old building
Yeah,
I
the
saw.
one that's on First Street on the corner,
Oh, on 58?
Yeah.
58.
That's
It
not a
says-
museum.
It just says museum on the side of it or something? What is that?
place?
That's
Down the
Dell's
street here.
building.
Okay. So I'm confused.
Oh, you're talking about the cult building.
Oh, that building.
Yeah, yeah, it's got the big log structure up front.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the
He
old.
called it a museum. Yeah, he had cars.
It
and
says
stuff.
sign that says
Yeah,
museum,
it
I thought it
does.
was.
You know where I'm talking, where the car
The
was.
museum is right down the street.
Right next to Rascal.
Yeah.
And they just got the building, what, last year?
Yeah, last
year?
summer.
Oh, okay, so I'm totally confused, okay.
Yes.
All right,
Right down the street, you can't.
Alan Ford, wasn't
Excuse
Oh,
me.
Alan Ford gave
it?
you
Alan
that?
Ford.
The old Alan Ford place, yes. Woody Allen.
Woody
What a
Allen.
character he was.
Oh, okay.
Because it's sold before it was Ford.
Because the son on the Ford Family Foundation is Alan Ford, so that's,
Yeah.
he's on the board there in the Ford family, so that's why I thought maybe you're talking
Well,
about.
that would have been.
I was
a
gonna
nice-
say, if he's in town, let's get the money rolling here.
Would have been a nice place for a museum, but it was private, so.
Okay, okay.
I named Cole.
So what other goals for city council?
I think, and this is, I don't think anybody else agrees with this, but I think we need to get rid of a lot of our excess land, machinery, anything. I mean, I honestly don't believe,
Surplus property.
yeah, we need to be landlords or just have a bunch of stuff to, I think we better serve as somebody that owned it and paid taxes on it.
We had a proposal that, and our previous city administrator put together a surplus property list for us, which is still around someplace.
Okay.
None of it got sold, but, because it really wasn't pushed very hard. But I think that a lot of that property really wasn't, it's stuff that the city needs, like some of the stores you're talking about.
Yeah, like
It's
the
really,
finance
it's
store.
really property that's on the hillside, and probably not gonna sell it anyway. I think we need to set that list that he's got and split it apart and put the real sellable stuff there, and then make a decision on that rather than the stuff that's on the side of a hill and all that.
Like Little Texas, that is a sellable area.
It is.
Talking about. That is a sellable.
So that's a good one.
Go ahead, I can see you got something to say there.
I think I see two things looking on the weakness list that are things that we need to really focus on for the near future. And that is the Highway 58 corridor lack of appeal and the destination stop. And I know a lot of people, and even the people that are in the biking right now, tourism is not our end all, but it is what we have right now. And we really, really need to get behind it 100% and push it as far as we can to help facilitate industrial growth. Because that is who, by attracting those people, those entrepreneurial people, which are the ones with the money that like to play, by bringing them here and utilizing the resources that we have here, then hopefully they start to see and go, hey, because the trends that I'm starting to see or read about is that people used to live in the city and travel to recreate. Well, now they're living in the recreation and traveling to the city.
Exactly.
And we're a prime example for that, especially with the bus. And the third thing I would add is the Amtrak station.
Right.
Those things are vital to us right now. And that is what is pushing our engine. And we have to focus on that. The other stuff will flow, I believe, once we get that focus 100%.
Yeah, you know, unfortunately right now, Highway 58 is your billboard. This is us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And with what's his name, Troy? You know, he's doing a great job. I mean, things are starting to move in that area, but it's always been complaint driven and never been about enforcing anything. It's always been poor little Oakridge. Well, those days are over.
Well, you're right. I mean, more and more jobs are mobile. I mean, I've got half my people are fixed, go to office, and half of them work from home. So, you know, and they're all over the place. Sacramento, Boise, Port Townsend, Washington, and you know, but with the electronic transmissions, they can send stuff, you know, anywhere, and so it's not nearly a fixed place.
I talk to people all the time, primarily at the pub, but just in other locations too, that are from all over the West Coast. that are coming here specifically to ride their bicycle.
Right, right,
And they're going, God, this is a great place, I wish I could live here.
right.
But they drive around and see what they see and go, no way.
Yeah.
So by the medical, the urgent care, the, some of those things, focusing on some of those things.
Well, and I think that the liquidating surplus land, if you've got some key property that can be some of that development that'll be the synergy for the town, you can create some pretty good incentives for folks to come in. If you have any Highway 58 corridor frontage land that you could put up, you could put that out where the city may defer for 5 years any payments on the land in consideration of a proposal that builds either a new hotel or whatever you want there. But
We are an enterprise zone.
Yeah, oh, you are, yeah, enterprise zone too, okay, so that is
And
actually.
that'd be a strength.
Yeah, that is a strength. So, go ahead, anybody else got something from?
Well, I'll throw out my annual one. And we're gonna get caught short one of these days, and that is to complete and implement, I'm just taking this off of our current goal list, which is saying on the wall up here. Complete and implement our emergency management plan. If we ever get into a serious emergency, we're dead in the water.
Okay.
We got no real plan, we'll be reacting not ahead of the game, but behind the game.
What kind of emergency are you talking about?
Emergency disaster plan.
Dam break.
Anything.
Breaking?
Anything that happens, you might
Flood,
have a nuclear
wildfires,
incident
you
because
name
we
it.
have nuclear stuff that goes through town there. You might have oil spills, you might have a railroad tip over a cyanide car out here on the highway.
Sure.
Or a railroad, how are you gonna deal with that? So you anticipate that and make a plan.
Well,
I attempted for 3 years, never did get it done.
the other good thing about that is that the Willamette Activity Center could be an EOC and emergency shelter there, so that would open up
Council,
some.
could
It
you
has a
put
big
that on your
gymnasium
goals?
there.
What's
It
that?
has a big gymnasium.
That is
With-
sure,
with-
that's what
Not
we're
on your
working on.
goals yet, but can you put that down on your goals?
That's
It's
why I
whack.
brought it up.
Well, the whack.
Just did.
Oh, the whack, you mean? For
Yeah,
the
whack.
EOC? Yeah.
Is that, that's a big one.
It is. The problem we've got here is topography. If we have an incident on the railroad, for instance, something like cyanide, which is a heavy gas, you don't want to be down in the WAC or fire department because you're in the kill zone. And but that's the incident, it's a risk benefit type thing, and there's probably a little risk, but it could happen.
Sure.
You always think about finding out what the worst possible thing could happen.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we know it's gonna happen, because how many times does 58 close each winter? I mean, for either
It
truck or.
closed this last year because we had an oil spill down by the
Well, that
station.
fuel spill right down,
Yeah.
west of town.
Any other council goals that, and I realize.
We've got to do something starting on that water and sewer system.
Okay.
We need to
The
look-
I&I situation, we've been talking that around for about 2 or 3 years, and we really haven't taken any incentive to jump on the bandwagon and see what we can do for grants.
Right, and one of the things that I'm working towards is, if there are grants that require a match, we're hoping to try and build in 100,000 into I&I for next year.
Doesn't this strategic plan, though, help facilitate?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, what they're gonna do is they're gonna ask the question, well, is it in your strategic plan? Do you have a strategic plan? Is this in your strategic plan? And we wanna make sure that we get everything in the strategic
Yeah,
plan.
but let's
So-
definitely
See,
get that in there.
there's also a big conjunction here of the water plan and the OIP, because the OIP has 3 ponds in it, which were used originally for fire suppression. Well, they closed there was a canal that came from Salt Creek, and they closed that canal, the forest department did. So water cannot go in there, so basically, we have no fire suppression system now at the OIP because we don't have water going in.
Wouldn't that fall kind of in the...
And that's part of the reason that we need the 1 million gallon tank,
Yeah.
is so that we can have a water suppression system. Otherwise, OIP really is not, the industrial park, really not an industrial park, because nobody can put anything in there because we have no way of putting in a sprinkler system.
Okay, well,
So this whole thing is all interconnected in some really intangible ways.
That goes against this.
That's part of the infrastructure, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
look into the possibility of taking the cleanup at the industrial park to a commercial level so that we can entertain more possibilities. Because right now it is cleaned up for industrial use only.
Okay.
So taking it to that next level where commercial, we can't even put a truck stop in there
No,
because it's not an industrial use.
You know, we have other places we can put trucks.
Well, I'm just
Yeah, I
saying.
understand, there's certain.
So
Well,
we
it depends
can't
on how
put,
you-
some people have talked about putting an
Depends on how
RV
you
park,
define
putting this or putting that, and different things.
Yeah.
Those are commercial applications. You
casino.
cannot put.
Well, why don't we rezone it for
That's what you have.
We have to change the cleanup level.
I was wondering.
Each level of cleanup, whether it's industrial, commercial, or residential, has a level, a different level, a different cost
I bet a lot of people do it just because of that.
mitigation.
Yeah.
Are all,
I
is
thought the
whole
majority of that
RV
park, the
zone
area-
are that way, or is just portions of it?
My understanding is the whole park
The whole park?
is zoned industrial.
actually, you have your industrial, and then along Kokanee, that's all light industrial. Okay, so,
Still industrial.
well, I understand, but that's where your cleanup levels came in. Okay, so the light industrial allows different uses than the heavy industrial market,
Yeah, but you can't have overnight stays is the problem.
unless you rezone it and we clean it some more, right?
If we were able to get it to the level that Jim's talking about, we'd have to rezone it, of course, but we have the ability, and it met all the requirements. There's all kinds of things you can put in there.
Absolutely.
Amy's Casino can go in there.
That's what I said.
Well,
An RV park could go in
How many
there.
But
years have you been yelling for a casino?
It would be, you know, one of the things that it sounds like is that there's real potential there, but maybe that's something that we need to look at the industrial park and say, this portion of it should be taken to the next level. We should keep the rest of it at industrial.
And you would keep the area around the spur, I think you would keep industrial. The stuff that's closer to the highway, you would go through the process of cleaning up.
Well, it's something we put down as a goal, at least we could look into it.
And you know, John Melandon, he sent me who's one of the guys in charge of the industrial park, he sent me this website where there's a little town that's 32 miles from Phoenix that basically had ponds like what we have there, and they opened them up for free fishing. I mean, it's called catch release, but you don't have to have a fishing license, you don't have to have anything. It's basically a park area.
Okay.
You know, and he said he could see something like that. I don't know if I can see that, but that's.
Well, again, that goes back, I mean, years ago, we had a
That's one of
gentleman that
John's
lives here in
dreams.
town that wanted
That's one of
to,
John's dreams.
Yeah.
that wanted to turn the ponds into an RV, an upscale RV destination park. But again, because, well, first of all, he wanted to buy it, we couldn't sell it in those days. But the other thing was is that it's zoned industrial, and now we know that there are PCBs in the bottom, and what's the status on the fish being tested?
it's in process.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So-
we did request a EPA grant or DEQ EPA grant to test the fishies
Okay, yeah,
to see if there's any PCBs in them.
okay,
We're hoping not.
You're right.
yeah.
We have a real rare fish in there, they're one-eyed fish, but we.
Right in the middle.
5 foot fish.
I'm kidding.
But they can see 360 degrees with that.
Right.
It's a unicorn fish.
They glow in the dark.
Yeah.
That's right, they blow in the dark, so you find
Any other things that the council would like to see on this list? Obviously, you're gonna get sick of having to go back and forth on this by the time we get done, but I wanna make sure we get everything in the inventory right now. Yes, some of the things that different people have done, I'll pick on Pilot Rock to set up a motocross course, because that's a big thing there where,
We have one.
yeah, and so, you know, believe it or not, Grass Valley has a racetrack out there. Yeah, and
Kevin, when he was here, had a vision of a disc golf course out there in the industrial park area.
yeah, so I just, should we throw that up later?
Yeah, because that's a huge attraction.
He had all the plans and everything, and basically.
Yeah, he did
Just
have-
about ready to
He
do
did.
it.
What about some kind of marketing program?
Yes.
Yeah, we should do that.
But we need more employees before we have time to build.
No, but this is where the parks volunteer system comes in.
Oh,
yeah.
They've been talking to you about people wanting to build that.
The other thing that we've done several of these little, and I'm not a skateboard park person, but you know, it's, believe it or not, there's people that tour around to visit these skateboard parks.
Well, see, we have 2 pump tracks in town.
Okay.
Well, one in Westford and one here.
Okay.
What people don't know, I mean.
So that's the kind of stuff that when, you know, when we get back together and when the community comes together, we need to get all, you need to you know, step back and take the bird's eye view and look at it. Because you guys know this stuff is all here.
And there's a pretty nice skateboard park over here.
Yeah.
Should we, here's a question.
Yes, nice.
Sure.
It has nothing to do with, well, I guess it does have something to do with this. Should we have a town hall meeting before we have the public input meeting? To explain the process, we don't get in to explain the process why we're there? So maybe is that?
I'm open to however you want to approach that, whatever you think is
Does
best.
that make
That's a
sense,
good
Mark?
idea.
How do you normally do it?
Well, we do it a couple different ways. We do interviewing. Thank you. My brain. Interviewing stakeholders, or we invite stakeholder meetings and we do different stakeholder meetings, you know, there. Or, you know, the mayor said that we've got different groups that are sort of operating independently. So we should look at how we can take this next step to bring the community together. If it means a town hall and then a community meeting, I'm totally fine with that. So.
To me, I think that, and we've been talking about a town hall meeting quarterly, right?
Yeah,
And it seems like now that we have, you know, the budget's back in square again, or
Not totally square, but we're getting there.
where it's getting close.
Well, I think
and some of these things, that maybe this is the time for us to sit up there and go, okay, this is what's going on, this is what we're seeing, and this is what we're getting ready to introduce. And then it allows you to segue right into, okay, now there's communication, there's a focus in the community that we're really going somewhere here. And the financials, because there's still a lot of rumors going, a huge rumor mill, you know.
I would recommend that we use this process to say, we all know that we had some problems. It hit all the papers and, you know, everybody in the state. This is where we come, just like you said, and use it for education and to bring the community together and then set them up to come into this process.
Otherwise, I think that your first public meeting is just going to be us doing what we should have done in a town hall meeting, first of all, and that's explaining where we are today.
Okay, and I guess, you know, I'm not clear what the town hall meetings mean here compared to a community meeting.
Well, it's just, I mean,
But, yeah,
Yeah,
it'd be basically a forum for the citizens to speak informally
Right.
or anything to the council, for them to present and for them to communicate basically openly and informally.
But I also think it'd be to the town's advantage or everybody's advantage if like the things that we want to present at the town hall meeting, we're putting like an editorial or some kind of something in the newspaper to let everybody know where we're at and what we're thinking. And then when they come to the town hall meeting, it's not like
well, it can also be done like the candidate forum.
Well, why couldn't you, I mean, identify some key questions that you would like to ask your whoever?
Mm-hmm.
And attach that, you know, with the water bills and let every citizen.
We've done that community survey too, and we can certainly do that. That stirs up the pot a little bit.
Well, it does, but you might get a consensus of.
Oh, it's
I mean,
a good way.
And you can focus your questions on things like, you know, what things are you hearing from people? Because you have a lot of people that do business, even the guy who pumps your gas. They're seeing people travel through. So they may be getting another view. Going to a couple conventions, I don't know how many people, when you tell them from Oakridge, oh, I go through there, I'm on my way up to go skiing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, things like that. So the guys that live here that are pumping gas, or even McDonald's or Dairy Queen, whatever, they're going to get a different view than you do sitting at the pub because they're coming into contact with different people.
Mm-hmm.
They may hear from people, oh, you know, wow, I just found out you guys had a skateboard park, you know, you need to publish that. You may get, if you can focus your questions, not to stir the pot, because we don't need to do that, but to get responses, you know, what do you hear from people that they like, what don't they like, and then you can actually go back and, you know, I'm going to scratch a sore